Hi, hello, good evening, and good day, whatever it is, wherever you are. This is Strat Chat, and we are recapping the finale eve week of Australian
Mm.
Survivor. Yes, that's right, the eve is upon us. Lots of really interesting things happened this week, including an idol being played incorrectly. I mean, what an epic flarn. I can't wait to get into that. We have people being sassy at Tribal. Yeah, goodbye, Alex. You and your bad attitude. Definitely lots to talk about. So let's get into it. I am Kyle Petty, and I'm joined as always by my faithful tribe mates,
Mm.
John Dunphy and Gino Morgino. And again, this is Strat Chat. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod, including our grand return to Blue Sky. Now that we know that hashtags are coming back or coming to it, not even back because they were never there, right? It's not the return of hashtags; it is the birthing of hashtags.
The birthing.
But okay, so we are on the eve of the finale, right? Only
Mhm,
3
mhm.
episodes left, and still, honestly, quite a bit of game left to be played. And these people are certainly not disappointing us. But Sunday's episode opened with everybody kind of like cheering Raymond on for using that popcorn advantage, which kind of surprised me. I didn't know how that one was going to go. I know that I would have been a little salty after that one for the just this sheer emotional manipulation of the thing. I understand that it's
Right.
the game, but it was just, I don't know. I would have had a rougher time forgiving
I
that one.
was a little surprised. I mean,
Oh.
I wasn't surprised that people were congratulating him for a good move, and I wasn't surprised that,
Mhm.
like, maybe some people would move on. I just was a little surprised there wasn't maybe 1 or 2 that were, like, really annoyed by this to the like, even, like, somebody, like I might have even expected, not that he has many options anymore, but maybe someone like Mark to try to, because
Mhm.
Mark's allies have constantly been getting decimated all season. And here, his closest ally left in Valeria was the direct victim of this advantage that was used. And I could have seen him maybe trying to be like testing the waters to see like how can I get Raymond out of here like after that.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Gina, you had a opinion to
Yeah.
the contrary.
No, I just can't decide. Like, I don't know. I feel it's hard because I feel like people from Australia are nicer than the people that play this game in America. Because I was gonna be like, oh, I don't know. I feel like people would like respect a good move is a good move, but also like I forgot how emotional Scott's exit was and how much that affected everybody to see how much he was affected by it. So I
Mhm.
really can't decide if I'm surprised or not that no one was more off put by it.
Hmm.
You know?
I feel like if it was US Survivor, Raymond would have been gone immediately.
Yeah, oh yeah, people would have been like, "What the hell?"
How dare you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though
Um,
I actually, I don't know if that's true. Like, I feel like more people would be like unsurprised that someone was snaky like that. You know? Like that's kind of what I'm saying is like I feel like people in Australia would be like, "Oh my god, like you took this like really deeply vulnerable emotional thing and now you like used it as a manipulative game move. Like that's so bad. Why would you do that?" I feel like literally everybody on American Survivor would be like, "Yeah, I'm going to pull on your heartstrings and then I'm going to cut you." Like, you know what I mean?
Right. But that's why I feel like after he pulled it off, they'd be like, all right, well, good move, but now you're gone. Like,
you
I feel like
jerk.
people would be so pissed by that. And then now they would see it as being like Raymond's pulled off the biggest move. The next biggest move is to take out Raymond,
Right.
um, I feel like that's how people here would think of it. I don't know.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Hmm. But they didn't seem to care. They cheered it on. Um, and that was really it. Alex had kind of gone to Kirby, hoping that they can maybe work together, but she made it abundantly clear that that was never going to happen. She's like, I just don't like how you play the game. I just don't like it. I'm just, no, sorry, no. And I was like, you know what? Good on you. Because also in America, they would have lied. I said, yeah, I got you. And then cut right to a confession. I'll be like, I ain't doing that. So just like, I'm not even going to waste my breath. I'm just not doing it. No, whatever comes to me, but I don't care. So
I like, there's a small part of me that has felt bad for Alex because he's had a rough ride in this game. But at the same time, I've also, this episode where he left, I actually found really enjoyable because I was like, all right, enough. Like, you've really done this to yourself. Like, maybe there was some bad luck in there, but you've also just been like, you have never, like, maybe like your allies, like the vote's never gone your way, right? People don't seem to trust you much. The second you do get some allies, something goes wrong. But I feel like it's mostly his own fault because he's constantly flip-flopping. Nobody's ever really sure about him. Like, I felt like he could never follow through on anything.
No. And that makes you extremely untrustworthy in a game like that. I mean, and while you can't necessarily trust anyone, you absolutely know you can't trust Alex because he's so flip-floppy and all over the place. So, like, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. And Frank here says Kirby doesn't play with floaters. So he has no allies, so no benefit for her to play with him. Which
Nope, no argument here.
Yeah,
totally agree, Frank.
No other context, correct.
Right, got it. Yeah, I'm on board. But that brought us to the reward challenge where they had to transport water from the ocean to this larger container using a leaky bucket. I will say Alex absolutely beasted this. Oh, yeah. The way that he was just running and leaping over those little the bars and everything. I mean, it was really impressive to watch.
I would have busted my ass so fast.
Oh yeah, there's absolutely no way.
I don't understand why he was about to win. He could have just won, not having any private conversations with anybody. He chose to put water in Mark's thing and then ran back to have a private conversation with him. Mark said, here's what I think you should do. And then Alex immediately did the opposite.
Right.
Like, what do you do? This is just another example of like bringing this on yourself.
Right. There is a world in which, like, I also do believe that simply because I asked you for your advice doesn't mean I need to do what you said. Like, you know what? I don't think that's a great idea, but like his idea was great. So like you should have listened. Like, I don't know what he thought he was accomplishing. Oh, so also kind of forgot to mention that whoever won got to go to the Survivor Spa, right? That's how this one wrapped up. So, you know, Alex chooses to bring Rihanna, Caroline, and Kirby, even though, like, Mark, he had suggested to bring the men, right? Wasn't that his suggestion?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, well, no, but I think Mark actually told him not to. Like, he told Alex, "Don't bring me." I'm pretty sure.
Right.
So, but I think it was implied that at least Ferris would be there, and like it was just funny to me that Mark said you have to send Rihanna and Kirby back to camp, but like at the very least split them up. You know, do something. Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, I don't. Well, he doesn't know because he thinks he's so much smarter than everyone else. But at this reward is when he was trying to now kind of talk some strategy, like with Kirby, and she still was like not really having it. They then kind of suggested they were going to now target Ferris, but then as soon as they were up in the hot tub and he was laying in bed because of his overeating and over drinking, you know, because he had really done himself in, they're now literally whispering about him on his reward trip. I mean, so disrespectful. Like, y'all couldn't even just wait for him to like.
Yeah.
You couldn't wait to get back to camp before you started this. Like, oh my gosh.
It's like the reason that you had this nice little shower and you're sleeping in this nice clean bed is because he brought you here.
Right. And you couldn't even give him the respect of not talking crap about him, basically on his own trip. And it must have been very disheartening because he did make a comment that he had heard that these whispers were going on, and that's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
To be laying in the bed and knowing,
hearing people talking shit about you.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was so bizarre because like even when he was doing that whole thing, taking the shower, shaving, like it was really uncomfortable too because he kept like going right over his nipples.
Right. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
I was like, stop. Even Kirby was like,
ouch.
Yes.
And like the way that he was like talking at Kirby being like, so who's your biggest threat? She doesn't really want to answer. And she's like, I don't know. And then he's going on this whole spiel and he's like, oh, well, what do you think about that? And it's like, you're being so awkward that like, I'm not surprised that they're all whispering about you the second you walk away. Like you're making this so uncomfortable. Like, what a weird way to go about this. I felt like.
I know.
I feel like everything Alex did in this episode was weird to me. Like this whole time I was like, what are you doing? What's happening?
I don't disagree.
And I just loved how like his whole thing was like, yeah, get a couple of glasses of red wine and the ladies, some lasagna, and then we'll start, I'll start getting them to open up. And like he was the one that ended up like throwing up everywhere.
It was that second run at the lasagna. I mean, he's like, "You guys want any more? I'm gonna have some more." And I was like, "They're showing us this for a reason," and it was.
But also, like again, it's like this is what I think about with all of these like food rewards or anything. It's like, y'all, you've been on an island eating nothing for days. Right. Why are you gonna gorge yourself on this food that is absolutely going to destroy you?
Yeah, and it says the heaviest thing, like lasagna. Yeah. Oh, God.
It's heavy. There's so much cheese in there.
Yes, you eat too much of that on a regular diet, you could have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also laughed because when they got to the immunity challenge the next day, JLP was like, "So Alex, how was that lasagna?" And he was like, "Yeah, it was really good." And I'm just sitting there like, you didn't even get to fully digest that lasagna. So
No.
Yeah, did it get into your system at all? Did you get any nutritional value from that food that you just immediately vomited back up?
As we're talking about the lasagna, I think it's also important to note that second time that he went over there, like the sun was down at this point, wasn't it? Like it was dark. I didn't see any tin foil. I didn't see any plastic wrap.
Out in the sun, your favorite thing.
I mean, out in the bugs. I mean, there's no way there were not like flies landing on it and stuff. And I guess if you're hungry, I guess, would you really? I guess with everything else going on, I guess you probably don't care about some flies in your food. You're basically eating just dirty rice. Like literally dirty rice. Like, we're not talking like, Popeye's dirty rice, like Bojangles.
Like every mouthful of rice, you're just chewing on sand.
Yes. Yeah, the amount of sand that must be in their coconuts and stuff like that. It's like, I guess you probably don't care that a fly landed on it. It's probably the least of your worries. But this brings us to the immunity challenge. Right, we're standing on some little narrow pegs over the water and holding on to these rungs that were attached to sandbags. I will say, Alex did have a really sick recovery in this. Like I thought he was
that
out.
Was crazy.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way. Like even if he hangs on for like a little while, he's not going to be able to get himself back up. You just have to just kind of just lay here a little bit like this, and like maybe you could outlast her somehow, but. No,
that was one of the craziest things I've seen. Like
I don't know how he did that.
Recovery wise, in survive any version of Survivor, we've seen people like be in precarious situations, balancing things and all that, and like struggling with it, but making good recoveries. That was maybe the most impressive one I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like the core strength that it took to get back up. Oh, right. I was in pain watching him do that.
After he spent the whole night throwing up.
Oh, God.
But even with this, it still did not result in a dapya, because Rihanna took it.
Yeah.
What a beast. Now, what was this? This was like her third comp win, was it?
This might have been her third. Right? Because I think last time we said she had two, because I actually incorrectly thought she had won 2 in a row. So I think this would have been her third, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, much respect to her. She's really something else. I wouldn't mind seeing her again. I liked her. Oops. No, it's not.
Yeah, I liked her. I was getting a little annoyed with some of the dramatics, like the whole Kirby finally wins an immunity and Rihanna's freaking out, so Kirby has to give her the immunity necklace, and it's just I was getting like a little tired of like some of her stuff. Some of that, a little bit. But I did like Rihanna.
Yeah, I could see for her though. Like I think that it's pretty well established that like Kirby is somebody that everybody wants to get out, and I'm sure she's not used to the social mechanics of this game, even though she made a lot of bad decisions in that vein. You also know that like you would definitely be the person to take out just to weaken her. Like you're almost viewed sort of as a pawn in her game, which it's really selling her short because again she is like a comp beast, but. I could understand why that would make you a little uneasy.
Sure, yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
but I hear you. What else happens here? The girls want to target Alex. There's so much back and forth, though. It's almost exhausting. It's like, can we just play like a straight? Can we just play a straight game? Does everybody just do what they said they're gonna do? But yeah, I mean, there's really not a whole lot more to say here, except for Alex's his exit in this tribal. And this was really a carryover from a conversation that happened back at camp too, because he was really starting to challenge people, saying, what was your big move? This is why we have to go for Kirby, because none of you guys had made any moves that are really worth anything. And the fact that he repeated it there at that tribal, and he just did it in such a douchey way.
Like the ego that erupted from him in this tribal, I was like, who do you think you're talking to? Like, why are you being like this? As if you have all of that, as if you have this laundry list of moves that you have made that have greatly impacted this game. Here's all of the ways in which I have made great moves. You don't have anything on your resume either. So why are you talking to them as if you're doing so much better?
Right. Like he definitely was singling out Kirby especially, but Ferris too, the most. But like it was definitely a general, like, no one here is doing anything. No one's making any moves. And I'm literally thinking
going pretty hard on Caroline also.
Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself too, I was like, were you not at the last tribal council when Raymond literally tricked everybody so that he would have the only vote to send Valeria out? Like literally
you.
And he
had
actually
the fact when he was going at Ferris, that was crazy too, because I was like, I have literally watched this man control the vote in like multiple tribals. Where were you? Like, what do you mean?
Kirby's made a ton of shots at Ferris and landed them, taking out people like Eileen and Garrick, and like that was all Kirby. People are making plenty of moves, and it was funny to me too, because earlier in the episode, Alex was having a conversation with Ray and actually said, like, that's the biggest move in Survivor history, right? And then like now at the end of the episode, you're going, no one's making any moves. In the same episode, you said that the biggest move in Survivor history was just pulled off, and then at Tribal, you're saying no one's made any moves all game.
But then also like there's also the other side of this where it's like, dear Alex, if you think that nobody who's sitting here has made any big moves, do you think that maybe you just have really bad reads on the structure of what's happening in this game? Like maybe you just don't know what's happening.
Right. And it's like, I understand that what he was really essentially trying to do here was like, try and like make sure you listen. Kirby is the way that we need to go if you really want to make a move here. Like, gotta be Kirby. But there's a way to do that without insulting everyone else's game. Like, all that does is piss people off and just light their fire to get you out. It doesn't.
How did you think this was gonna end?
Right. This is not gonna now turn against Kirby when you're insulting them. Like, it's like, just get the hell out of here, man.
Yeah. I would have been interested to see how the tribal went and how the votes would have landed. Like, do you think that the plan, because they were planning, right, to, I think it was Alex, Mark, Ferris, Raymond, and they had tried to pull in Caroline, right, to try to get Kirby out. And I wonder how solid that plan was. Like, it would be very interesting to see how that would have played out differently if Alex hadn't.
Yeah, I hear that. I guess because of the way that these episodes are edited, I never really gave a whole lot of credit to that, because I just feel like any plan that we hear first is never the one that actually flies. So unfortunately, I was already kind of sitting there like, nah, I don't really need to pay much attention to this. It's not gonna happen. Whatever you show me, I already know is a lie. Whatever plan comes up right after the immunity challenge, I'm like, man, it's not real.
I loved Mark in the voting booth being like, I'm gonna vote Kirby anyway. I know you're gone, Alex, but whatever.
But yeah, so that was that. Voted out 6-2 over Kirby. Now I will say what Alex was successful in doing is now putting a rather large target on Kirby. It didn't take it off him. It just meant that now it was larger on her. And she certainly recognizes this. And this is where I thought some stuff really, really got interesting, because it was in this episode that we saw now Kirby kind of like ready to just sacrifice Rihanna after everything they went through together in this game. Couldn't wait to get back to couldn't wait for merge so you can get back together and all this other stuff. And now it's like, well, you know what, if it keeps me in, I'll let you go. Do you think these conversations happen too soon?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
I mean,
know either.
I guess Kirby's feeling like she had to have it then. I mean, well, at least certainly before the next immunity challenge, you know, like because she doesn't know if she's going to win or not. So like, have something in place, in
Yeah,
case
a
I'm at
backup.
risk. I guess. Yeah.
Because if you say it after the immunity challenge, now it just looks like you're scrambling, and
Yeah.
then, like, at least this presents like this is like a solid plan. Like, this is kind of how I
Right.
want this to go. Yes, we were already discussing this anyway, so BAU.
Yeah.
Um,
And what if Kirby doesn't win, and that means Rihanna wins? Then Kirby's really screwed. Like,
oh, she's super screwed. Super screwed. No, she had to win this one. This is the challenge where they had to hold the weight with one hand, and they were stacking up all the little blocks in a row
Mm-hmm.
and make sure they knocked him over. Um, this one was not super fun for me. I didn't really like this competition. Did you like
yeah, it
it?
was all right. It was okay.
Yes,
I
it,
thought
it happened.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was a snoozer. It was a snoozer. But I was happy that Kirby won. Like, good for her. Good for
Mhm.
her.
And she
Um,
needed to.
yeah, she did. She did. But right after she won, she was already starting to regret the fact that she was selling Ree down the river there. And she tried to take it back from Ferris, and King said no. No, sorry.
I don't
The
blame
plan
him
is failed.
either.
I don't blame him either. No, I don't.
Yeah.
It's like you had to at that point. You don't want to look like you're, to use Gina's word, you don't want to look like you're that malleable that you just kind of just change your opinion and plans like with the wind. And I do think it was a good decision to axe her there, because it forces Kirby to be closer with Ferris.
Yeah.
And which honestly, it's just returning the favor after that
Yeah.
Garrick thing. All
Exactly.
right, so that's what you get.
Garrick and Eileen, like the
Mhm,
whole idea
mhm.
behind that was to get Ferris to come running into Kirby's arms, and
Right.
now Ferris gave you one back. So
There you go. Too bad, so sad that happens towards the end of the game here. It does kind of put Kirby on an island, though, because Ferris does still have Raymond. I mean, at least at this point, Caroline had Kitty.
Kitty, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess, well, there's still Mark.
there's still Mark.
Yeah.
Put some respect on his name.
Well, no, it's just that Mark is kind of like alone in this situation,
Yeah.
though, too. Unfortunately, once Viola and Valeria were gone, like, he didn't really have another person. So he is, yes, I'm not trying to knock his game. It's
Yeah,
just
no, I
people
got you.
they're already gone. So he is just kind of like out there. So
I feel it's so funny to me that like Mark and Caroline are still in the game, and like at this point they're probably both just like, I can't believe I have no choice really but to like the deepest connection I have with anybody here is this other person, and we both hate each other. Like,
right. And it's like, when are they going to realize, put this aside? Like, you're trying to win a game. Like, stop it. You're firing shots back and forth. There are bigger threats in this game than you two firing at each other. That's not. Oh well. I want crazy things to happen to Caroline, and crazy things did. So that's it for this one, right? Rihanna was voted out.
yeah.
Was there anything like really special there?
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
I think that was too.
Yeah.
I think that was too.
I just one other thing about like Rihanna's exit that I feel like it's funny because I was just complaining about Rihanna too, but like there's one thing, especially in Australian Survivor, that I feel like is true, and that is that like they have the classiest exits. Because I'm complaining about how much she's freaking out Rihanna, and it's kind of annoying me, and then like she does finally get voted out, and what happens? She turns right around and goes, "Thanks guys, good luck," like, and just keeps on going. Whereas,
right?
How many times in the last few seasons have we seen players in U.S. Survivor get blindsided, and then they literally stand up, they don't speak a word to anybody, don't look at anybody, they just walk right out? Yeah. And like every time, like Australians just know the game's over for me, I'm gonna turn it off.
Just leaving.
Yeah, and I like that. So
yeah, and honestly, to the same point, Alex had a similar exit.
Yeah.
As many shots as he was firing at everybody, just insulting people left and right. his torch gets done. So he's like, all right, cheers. And everybody's
Yeah.
like, and they're like, love you, Alex. We're like, what? Oh my gosh, love you. And it's like, that's not all jury management. I think that people just really, really are so good at separating game from like real life. And like, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't remember which tribal it was this week, but there was one that like the person gets eliminated and it was Ferris and somebody, and they were like, this is so much fun. Like, great, this is fun. And I was like, fun. People leave an American Survivor, they never speak to any of these people again. They're like, fuck you guys.
As soon as I get home, it
Screw me
blocks
over,
on
I'm outta here.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes.
If this was American Survivor, we'd be talking right now about like the Alex and Kirby like beef on Twitter or something.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, but
people
here
hate
in
each
Australia,
Hi,
Ferris.
Ferris. Hi. Missed you this week.
Hi, Dad.
Not Dad.
You didn't get to call him Dad. You changed your name back.
Well, listen. My team has been decimated, and I have only one member in jury. So I feel like I have to represent. I'm sorry. I have to.
I respect it. Sounds like a really good time to flash your team. This is Team Done Faith. This is what we have going on here, which is, well, nothing.
Oh,
So
man.
so
Hi,
sorry.
Jono.
Hey, Jono. Welcome back to the chat.
I still can't believe I lost half of my team, all
1
four in a
week.
row. All four in a row.
Yeah, you had a rough go.
That 1 week.
Yes, please be greatly.
That 1 week, all three people that left were mine. And I was so like, Eileen's gonna make it. She's working with Ferris and they're gonna work with Kirby, and she's gonna find a way to get to the end. And then literally gone immediately.
The next
Immediately
episode.
next tribal.
We just hear in the group chat like, I hate this season.
Oh, Ferris, yeah. Ferris sitting there laughing at me.
He was at home like a perfect team.
Mhm. Yeah.
Honestly,
I will
have
say
to
we
say
both
that-
had a good chuckle about that.
I do have to say that it's kind of an honor to be laughed at by the smiling assassin himself.
It is.
Like,
It is.
Ferris, he knows who I am. He laughed at me.
Right. I was a joke to him. I was a joke to him.
I like it. I like
Picture
it.
gets me every time.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh my
I like it
God.
a lot. I
So
like it a
good.
lot.
So silly.
So good.
Oh, Jono, very, very jealous. Jono says he's seeing JLP tonight.
Aw.
Oh my god.
What a treat.
Where and how? Tell us things. Tell us more. Tell us more. What did you think of Caroline finding the idol? Pissed! I was like so mad. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm like, this is disgusting. I was like, there's absolutely no part of me that's cheering. Nothing. And,
Kyle said,
Yeah, I agree that was
he did.
so annoying.
yes, watching her happy made me sick. And I was like,
oh my God.
sorry, yeah, I really don't like her. I mean, what's redeeming about her? I mean, anything? Donald has tickets. Top Gear Australia. We don't know what that is. Top Gear is reminding me of Top Gun.
I
Not
think it's like
the same.
car. I feel like I've seen a Top Gear show and it's about like cars. I think.
Oh,
I hope. Hopefully, I don't sound like an
It used
idiot,
to
right?
play on BBC America right before Doctor Who, so I am familiar
Wow.
with her.
Okay.
Hi, welcome to the chat. I'm scared I'll say your name wrong. I don't want to be disrespectful. So, hello, Z.
Z.
Z. So Caroline wins her idol. Whoopee.
This was so annoying.
Poor
Oh,
Caroline.
Yeah, it was. Poor Caroline. You're only saying poor Caroline because she's on your team. Otherwise, you'd be slamming her just with us.
Yikes.
But this immunity challenge had our tribe members transporting blocks across like this little obstacle course thing, right? Using a long pole to stack them on top of the platform. If you hit the little obstacle, your stack will fall and you have to start all over. We've seen something like this before.
Yeah, I
yes,
actually
yes.
I had a good laugh because earlier in the week, Jake O'Kane from Survivor 45 tweeted,
Mhm.
BRB, I heard there's a Survivor Australian competition I need to break real quick. Because this is the one that he like had a fit and like
Oh, that's
destroyed the
right.
competition.
Yes.
That's right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So we've seen it very recently then.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the fun one. I enjoy watching these. These are really good time. And Kirby won again.
She sure did.
I felt so bad for Mark, actually. I'm not like rooting for Mark, really. I don't love, but like the fact that he literally had that piece, that block on the stack and wasn't able to
Yeah,
make
that
it.
was rough.
Fun,
Sorry, I was
Ferris
laughing
says.
at this comment.
Fun
Ferris
fact,
was
I was
rubbing the blocks on my sweat to help lube it up. That is, I don't know how I feel about that.
Kyle
That's
is so
a wild
turned
thing to
on right now.
Yeah, I'm a mix of turned on and disgusted at the same time. But oh gosh,
Oh
it's
my
getting wild over
God.
here. Yeah,
Jono likes it.
Wow, this is taking quite a
Right.
turn. Stretch out
Yeah.
after hours. Yikes.
Yeah, we are on a downward spiral. Join us.
Oh man.
But now Kirby and Ferris are discussing whether or not they should be targeting Mark or Kitty. Which I don't know if I missed something here. I really didn't know what to expect when we got to this tribal. I was really, really scared. And I will say that I was impressed with Caroline's plan. Ferris adding that the blocks were getting stuck on the Mark adding you could have lubed mine up too. It's taking quite a turn. I mean, like
I will
listen,
say, Mark was very close, and I bet some lube would have helped. I got to be honest.
well, listen. I mean, if
Oh
Ferris is
my
just going to be
God.
giving out, his lube. I mean, like put me on the list then. Like I'm not going to be the only one running around here lubeless. Like come on. Like,
Lube, not lubeless.
I can't do this.
You want to be lube full, not lubeless.
Oh, I sure do.
Jesus.
I sure do.
Oh wow.
What is happening?
How did
don't
we
know.
get here?
Brought to you by
honestly, I don't.
TY Jelly.
Let's say I don't even. Do they even have that there?
Oh no.
Oh, this is really getting silly.
One more comment. I also spat on it. Ferris
Oh,
says.
you know exactly what you're doing.
He does know exactly what he's doing, and now I am officially turned on. The
God.
disgust is gone. So there's that. So thank you very much for that.
Oh my God.
Where are we?
I don't know.
Caroline and her plan to use
shit.
her idol. She wanted to get everybody to vote for Mark so that she could use her idol to be the sole vote to get Ferris out. And this scared me. I was scared and I wasn't, because I was like, this actually sounds very smart and it sounds very serviceable. But then the other side to this was like, what are we going to do here? Like, there's no way that after everything has been hyped up this entire season, that this is how Ferris goes out. Like,
Right.
That can't be. I'm like, there has to be some reason why this doesn't happen. Like, but I wasn't seeing I wasn't seeing how. And I think that that's maybe why the edit did not allow us to see some of the Kitty conversations, because I was like, I'm like, well, maybe he'll still use it because he still has that idol.
Right.
I was like, maybe that comes out. I was like, maybe, because we're talking about the heightened perception of like Kirby and Ferris. So maybe at this point we'll see something that tips somebody off, and that is what gets him to use it. But when Caroline played that idol and he didn't, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, is this really how this is about to go? And gosh, I wish I was back at camp after this whole thing went down, because the pride on Caroline. Oh, she was so proud of herself. I'm going to use this, and I'm playing it for Ma. And
and when the first vote was read out and it said Mark, and she had that smile on her face.
Oh,
and, like,
yes. Oh my gosh, she was so impressed with herself. And what? Mark only got 2. He only got 2 votes at this point.
I feel like I only remember seeing. I feel like I only remember seeing one. I could be wrong.
Only one.
I don't. They all blend together in my head. I don't remember.
I think it
anymore.
actually. Yeah, I think it only was one, because Kitty was voted out 4-1. So I guess that is that really was
that'll
it.
do it.
Damn. And I would love to. I can't wait to see how she tries to recover from this. Except not everyone I don't know, in Australia they don't seem to be very spiteful. It's like, oh, all right, well, you tried it, but you failed.
Yeah, I feel like this might have been the one where everybody was like, "This game is so fun."
Right.
I was like, "Aren't you mad?"
Right. Oh, I can't wait to see what Caroline does now. I mean, like, obviously now she's got to work with Mark, right? We were saying before, like, can you put all this aside and just get to the game here and stop with the crap? But if Kitty's gone, I mean, Caroline literally has no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now what, we're down to 5 now, right? It's Caroline, Mark, Ferris, Kirby, and Raymond.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Caroline's got no choice.
Right.
And this is going to be now this is going to be an interesting week going into Sunday, because I mean, depending on who wins immunity, things can really swing either way. All you need is one person to have that majority of 3 and make a big shift here. And I think what's truly amazing is that I think everyone has forgotten about the idol that Ferris has.
Honestly, I forgot about it until he brought it up later in the episode. I was like, oh shit, you have that.
Yeah, and it's like everyone knew he had it, and then once Alex got his, that became the main thing. There was that one effort from Kirby to get them both to flush it.
Yeah.
And then that died off because Alex, who did he play his? Didn't he play his idol for somebody else too?
Alex
played it
played
for
for Valeria.
Yeah.
And then
A week
after
too
that,
soon.
yeah. And then that's it. No one's talking about it anymore. You can bet your ass though that Kirby remembers.
No, I think she's the only one, because there was a point where a lot of people were going out and looking. They were all looking for idols. And I feel like, especially Kirby, like, because she was very nervous about her situation, and I feel like I remember her mentioning something about Ferris hat. I could be wrong though, but I thought I heard somebody mention it. But I think you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody forgot except for Kirby and maybe Raymond, because they're working so close together. But
right, Raymond probably remembers. I don't think he would ever use that against him. And if he did, that'd be pretty crappy, because like he would not have pulled off that popcorn advantage had it not been for the work that Ferris put in. So you better leave him alone. Let him have his thing. I will say this is a very interesting comment too from Ferris, like saying that thank God I gave the idol to Alex, because he was getting ripped up on Twitter over this. Like, why would you allow him to get it? You could have had 2 idols and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, it did take the heat off him. This whole spotlight totally moved. Absolutely right. Really, really worked in his favor, because
this was the idol, right? That was like, was this the one? The 3 of them, right? So
like hidden in camp, and it was I
right.
think this was the one that was hidden in like the roof.
Yeah, right. So because like it would have been a terrible decision for him to take it and lie about it, because people would have to know that somebody got it. You know what I mean? And like, so
this is true too, because I forgot about this. This was the idol that like Eileen did that whole thing of like, if I wear my hair up, then he doesn't have it, and if I wear my hair down, then that means like no one was actually sure that he even had an idol.
Right. Unless, does Raymond know for sure though? Because he wasn't part of that whole Eileen hair up down thing.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah,
I really don't remember, honestly.
Now I think it also is an interesting thing too. I wonder, when does that expire?
See, there it is.
Is it a final 5 type of thing?
Yeah, I don't remember, because that's not something you hear it when they find it, and then you kind of like forget. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he said Raymond found the idol with him. Yeah.
So I don't know when it expires though.
Well, I think it was either at the end of this episode or in the next on. He said like, I only have one more chance to use it. I heard him say.
Yeah, Jono says he believes final 5.
All right.
I do agree with you though, because I did remember that he had the idol, Kyle, and I felt a little bit more safe that like, okay, if he has to use it, at least he got it pretty far into the game. Like he's had that thing for a while now. So if he had to use it going into that last tribal, I felt like, okay, that's all right. That's acceptable. And now we know that he only has one more time to use it. It expires. There's 5 people left. So that means we know, right? Ferris is going to Final 4, right? Right?
At the very least.
Well, unless he, uses it on someone else, but he gets screwed somehow. But Ferris, he's going to use it on himself. Let's be honest.
I certainly hope so. And I don't see any like negative to that. Like, because even if, I mean, I'm not saying that I want Raymond to go, but if Raymond did, he still has Kirby. If Kirby win, he's got Raymond. So we still, like, numbers wise, we're still doing as well as anyone else. And best case scenario, either Caroline or Mark goes. So
it's interesting. Yeah, this is a very interesting final five here.
It is. I don't know what's happening over here. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else now after that.
Yeah, I don't really think so either. Kyle, I'm like looking at the draft teams. Kyle, it is so crazy how your team has ended up.
Yeah, let's take a look at the teams. Let's take a look at the teams. So we already saw
5 people
John's,
left.
right?
Yeah, my team is gone.
This is what Gina has left. Kirby, Caroline, and Raymond. You're not really in a bad position. I mean, like this, not at all.
I love that we both still have our number one picks.
Yes, we do. We sure do. And look at mine. Bookended.
But like a solid 2.
A very solid 2. Yeah, I'm not ashamed of my team. My team is really strong. There's hope for me.
Yeah. If Kirby doesn't win the next immunity challenge, I could see that being a time where Ferris is like, all right, time to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Like I could see that happen. Well, although the Ferris and Kirby have been talking quite a bit about like wanting to take the best person to the end, right? So it's a possibility that Ferris wouldn't pull the trigger on her, maybe.
I hope we trust that. I mean, Kirby did. I think she said it at Tribal.
Yeah, there it is. I was just gonna say, he's sitting there like,
One of you is getting giggled at. I hope it's not me.
Now I'm nervous. You have all the information.
Yeah, that is like a weird thing to think that like
he's sitting in the chat like.
Yeah, I already know what's happening. Terrible.
I'm stressed out. Like it's fun. Like I wouldn't be as stressed out if I didn't know that someone already knew everything. It's knowing that like I could be getting giggled at that is stressing me out. I know we all know how it shakes out already, but I'm stressed out that and I don't know.
It's an honor to be giggled at by the smiling assassin.
You would know.
Yeah.
No, that was shady. Oh, sorry, man. Sorry,
it's true. Well, listen, that's fine.
Yeah. But that's it, right? I mean, that's a wrap of Finale Eve week.
Finale Eve.
I think so, right? I think so.
Yeah. All right. There's usually some more like closing thoughts, but there just aren't any. Oh my God. Yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. What's next? Monday at 9, Survivor 46, the inferior Survivor.
The inferior.
And then we'll be back next Thursday at 8 o'clock for Big Brother Canada. And then should we even do 8 anymore? Just push it to 9, right? We don't need this silly break.
Sure.
That's fine.
I don't know. 8 or 9 gives you a reason to check us out on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. But we will definitely be here 10:15, same time as usual to wrap up Australian Survivor, Titans vs. Rebels. All right. Thanks a lot. Find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, and leave us a review too. John always mentions that. I usually forget it, but like do so. It's nice. It helps us out. And thanks for hanging.